What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Vitalis coming to you from the bowels of Sacramento once again for the Sharp Report show for college. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and break down a single game that's on the card today. First is Nebraska versus Michigan. Let's go ahead and start there. We have 3% of the sharp money on Michigan, and I like that. Minus 18. Michigan's a far better team than Nebraska. If you looked at Nebraska today, Nebraska's just horrible. You were a little fired up in yesterday's video, weren't you? Yeah. So I actually was on last night's game where Illinois gave up all those points in the fourth quarter. I've never seen that before. Illinois should think about firing Lovie Smith as soon as they can. And it's just horrible. There's 7 minutes left in the game, and you guys go for it on 4th and 15. It makes no sense. No coach on earth would do that. And they pretty much gave away the game last night, so I'm a little pissed this morning. So let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so Nebraska, Michigan, minus 18. Take Michigan. Nebraska's a horrible team. That's all that should be said. 58% is on Michigan and 61% of the money. Everyone knows Michigan's going to win this game. Next is Buffalo and Rutgers. Once again, another bad team. Rutgers sucks. They shouldn't even have a football program. So Buffalo's getting, it opened up at 3, and now it's at 6.5. Take it down to 6 and take Buffalo. Next is Minnesota and Maryland. I show 6% on Maryland. This is going to be a close game, guys. I'm going to be nowhere near this game. It's too close. You're talking about a 1-point difference. You might as well just pick your favorite team and put the money line on it. So there's really nothing to go in that game. Then we go to Notre Dame and Wake Forest. This is completely even on the money. Money's coming in on both sides. Wake Forest is getting a plus 7. Here, I'm not really too high up on Notre Dame. I might just take the plus 7 and just roll with it. But on a money level, I show it's completely even. Money's coming in on both sides, so they don't know where to go in this game. Then we go to Akron and Ohio State. We have 20% of the money coming in on Iowa State at minus 19, minus 20, whatever you're going to get. I can see that Iowa State's just a better team. 55% of the bets are on Iowa, but 75% of the money. This is what we want to see. We want to see a larger percent of the money than bettors. So go ahead and take Iowa State. I like that. 20% is getting up there. That's definitely the range where I start looking at sharp money. Next is Boston College and Purdue. I'm showing Purdue's getting a plus 6.5. I show 15% on Purdue in this situation. They're just taking the points in this situation. I really like what Boston College has been doing this year, but if we're just following the money, everyone's saying take Purdue, so take Purdue. Next is Nevada and Toledo. Toledo's getting a minus 10. I show 2% of the sharp money on Toledo. Take it for what it's worth. I'm going to be nowhere near this game. It doesn't interest me at all. Maryland and Stanford telling Money Gang Sports brothers blind. Okay. All right. I like it, Ralph. Then we go to Ohio and Cincy. This is definitely a game that I'm going to be looking at. 23% of the money is coming in on Ohio. Now, this is probably playing contrarian, and I'm going to have to look more into this game. But I think Ohio is 0-3 in ATS, while Cincy is 3-0 in ATS. These are definitely matchups that I look at because I don't care about who wins. I only care about the ATS covers. So this is definitely something I'm going to circle. I'm going to circle it now. And I'm definitely going to be putting an eye on this game. I still have an hour to break it down. And I'll tell you what my personal play is today. but I'll definitely look more into this game. But as of right now, I show contrarian play on Ohio at +8. So remember the magic numbers we talked about. Then we go to Kent versus Ole Miss. We all know Ole Miss can throw the ball. They're a way better team. 2% is on Ole Miss at -24. It's got bet up to -28. I would not take anything over 28. 28 is the magic number. Kent State's they can't stop this team. So it just, I think it's going to be more of what we saw last night in the Penn State Illinois game. Ole Miss is just going to run all over Kent State. Morning, Tony. Thanks for tuning in. Then we go to Navy and SMU. I showed 10%, 9% on SMU at this point at +6. If you're going to take SMU, I would say take it to the +7, the magic number. But everyone I know loves Navy in this spot. Navy's a better team, but they are on the road. But SMU just doesn't play well. They just don't come when it's needed. So take it for what it's worth, guys. I'm going to be nowhere near this game. Just telling you where the money is. Then we go to Georgia and Mizzou. I have 11% on Georgia at -14. That's the magic number, guys. Georgia -14. Don't take any higher than 14 because they're saying that it's going to be about 2 touchdowns. Then we go to Pitt and North Carolina. I show 11% is coming on North Carolina. Take +3.5. That's the magic number. Don't take 3 because you're playing for a push. Take 3.5. Take North Carolina. But I will tell you this. I've really been liking what Pitt's doing this year. They are giant killers. They've been covering ATSs against bigger teams. So I'm not going to be nowhere near this game. But it's hard. It's hard for me to look at North Carolina in this situation. But if we're following the money, North Carolina is getting 12% at +3.5 or +4. Then we go to Louisville and Virginia. I have 2% on Virginia at -5. You can probably knock that down to 3 and feel a lot safer. I like what Virginia is doing this year. It's up to you. Take it for what it's worth. I'll be nowhere near this game. The next game, I can't even. WMU versus the Georgia State. What is it? Georgia State Panthers. 13% is on WMU. I can't even tell you guys what the school is. Sorry, I can't memorize all 130 teams. But 13% is on WMU. Georgia State Panthers, they just been getting these are powder puff schools, and they're playing against each other. And Georgia State has played some like huge teams the first 2 weeks, right? And they have injuries because they've been beat up by these other teams. So that's why 13% is on the other team, WMU. Take it for what it's worth. Then we go to Colorado State University versus Illinois State. 5% is on Illinois State getting the +4. We all know Colorado State, why I like Colorado State. Colorado State has a lot of injuries right now. And they didn't look. Do you guys remember week 0 in college? There's a week 0. In week 0, when Colorado State played Hawaii, they played like shit, like they couldn't gel together. They had injuries. So I don't know. For the year, you could pretty much say that they're going to be no good. So the money's coming on the other side. Then we go to Western Kentucky versus Ball. 3% is on Ball at +3. I have no idea why Ball State is even favored in this situation, to be honest. Ball State's a horrible team to me. They should not be favored at all. Western Kentucky +3. I really like that. I'm showing you if you take the +3, you're getting -120. So I'm just going to write that down right now. Western Kentucky +3. I like Western Kentucky. I don't like Ball State. Hey, thanks, Reggie. Thanks for tuning in. What's up, buddy? if you guys have a game, I'm going to go through all of them. But if you guys have a game or a total, put it in on the side. I promise we will get to it. Then we go to Miami, Ohio. Let me see that game. I can't even tell. Whew. Sorry, I'm just trying to read the figures. They're saying go completely opposite of Miami, Ohio. If I'm not correct, I don't got 20 screens, guys. Miami of Ohio is 0-3 ATS. They're not a great team. Take the other team. I show 12% in the other way. Miami of Ohio, 0-3 ATS. I'm showing they're getting -6.5. So if you're taking the other team, take it down to 6. Feel comfortable about it. 0-3 ATS team, no good. I'm going to get this name wrong. Maine versus Central Michigan. 2% on Central Michigan at -4. Take it for what it's worth. They'll be nowhere near that game. Then we got Appalachian State versus GWB. Can't even tell you guys. Probably a Powder Puff school. Appalachian State all the way. I love what Appalachian State is doing this year. If the fucking hurricane or monsoon didn't hit last week, I would have been on Appalachian State then too. Appalachian State, writing it down again. Let me see. -43, guys. I don't know if you guys have like a level that you don't really mess with. Appalachian State is much better than this Powder Puff school. And -43 is big chop, but it's up to you. I'm just telling you no. I would have rode Appalachian State yet last week if it wasn't for the storm, I'm probably going to ride them again. Then we go to KU versus Baylor. KU's been impressing everyone, but Baylor's getting -7, -7.5. I show 23% of the money on Baylor in this situation. Baylor's defense should stop the run for KU. So take it for what it's worth. Yeah, Baylor, 23%. That's about that sharp money I'm looking at. Man, I might have to look into that, guys. Next is NCUU versus Duke. Another Powder Puff school. Duke is getting -44. I'll be nowhere near this game, but I don't see how you do anything but Duke. Everyone's been saying Duke's not going to win this game. Duke's not going to win this game. They keep winning every week. Duke. Tulsa versus Ohio State. Tulsa is getting 8% of the money, but I am showing the public is drowning Ohio State right now. So they're probably just doing this as a contrarian play. -34. It's went up to -37. The public is all over Ohio State, but I'm showing the money is coming on Tulsa. This is a contrarian play. That's all they're doing. We have Charlotte and UMass. Another game I'll be nowhere near. UMass is getting -7. Just depends. These are two like low-level tier schools. Whatever you guys want to do. I show 1% is in favor of Charlotte. Sure, whichever way you want to go. It doesn't matter. Then we go to Clemson and Georgia Tech. Let me see. The public is all over Clemson, and we all know why. Clemson's the best team. Georgia Tech is getting like 3% of the money because they're getting +16. They've passed that threshold of 14, right? They passed that magic number. So if you really want to do it, if you really want to go contrarian, take Georgia Tech, bump it up to 17. But Clemson is just a powerhouse, guys. So take it for what it's worth. Then we go to Miami Hurricanes versus IFU. What's that? Florida International. 4% is for Miami University. The U. Yeah, Hurricanes. If the Hurricanes can't beat this team, I don't know what to say. They're getting -26. That's probably the right number for that. And they'll probably win by 28. So then we go to Northern Illinois University versus Florida State University. Guys, it was at 11. It's at 10. It's been fluctuating all week. I can tell you, I'm on Northern Illinois at plus 10. FSU is not the same squad. They are lost with Willie Taggart. I saw members of the team last week quit on the coach. Quit on the coach. So if you're asking me what my personal play is, Nasty Nate, I see you're asking, it's NIU plus 10. I took that long before. I took that earlier in the week. When I see players quitting on their coach, that's a huge sign. There's already Reddit, Twitter. There's things out there asking for Willie Taggart to be bought out. This is his first year. The buyout would be 22 mil or something like that. This Florida State is horrible in my eyes. I will be betting against Florida State University every week, guys. You won't even have to ask me. This is my play today. It comes on at 12:30 my time in the West Coast. So that is my play, NIU. I'm not a big fan of Florida State. Not a big fan of Willie Taggart. Take it for what it's worth. Kansas State versus, what's that, West Virginia? 15% is on Kansas State. Just following the money, guys. 38% of the bets, but 55% of the money. Take it for what it's worth. Virginia Tech versus Old Dominion. I have 3% on Virginia Tech. I can see that. Old Dominion just didn't they just lose to Charlotte a few weeks ago? Just take Virginia Tech in this situation. I'm showing the numbers fluctuating between 28 and 27.5. That's the magic number. If you want anything to do with this game, I'll be nowhere near this game. Then we go to Texas A&M versus Bama. I show 21% coming in on Texas A&M. This is contrarian play. Remember, we're just following the money in this situation. People think Texas A&M are going to put up a fight, and Bama's number is around 23. It went up to 26. So when it went up to 26, people have jumped in on Texas A&M. Remember the magic number. If I were to take Texas A&M, I would bump it up to 28 if I could, and roll from there. Then we go to the Arizona Wildcats versus Oregon State. Let me see. I show the Wildcats are getting minus. It was -7. It's dropped to -4.5. Arizona Wildcats have been horrible this year, but Oregon State's no better. I want nothing to do with this game, but I am showing 17% is coming on the Wildcats, the Arizona Wildcats. Then we go to South Carolina versus Vandy. 11% is coming in on South Carolina, and Vandy's not really a great team. This is almost a pick 'em, but I'm going South Carolina in this situation. Then we go to UConn and Syracuse. Syracuse opened at -27. It's -30 right now. UConn is a horrible team, guys. They're 0-3 they're 0-3 ATS. Syracuse is 3-0 ATS. 30 is a large number. I would buy it down. How many units do you put on wagers? So it's one unit. It's $50. But on NFL, it's different. So NFL is $100. But this is my week 3. So week 3, I start doubling up. So I go bigger in this situation. So a regular unit for me is $50. So when you guys say, I bet baseball, that's $50. When I bet college, that's $50. And then usually football is $100 until week 3 and so on. Because at week 3, you really know what the teams are going to do. And then I start doubling my units. And if I start getting on a roll, I'll start doubling. So I go from 100 to 200 to 300. 300 is probably my max because I usually have 3 NFL teams. On Sunday, I usually have 3 NFL teams. So if I have 333, that's $1,000 outstanding. I'm not rich, guys. So $1,000 is fuck, I'm like kind of pushing it at that point. You know what I'm saying? So just to let everyone know what my wagers are. Okay, so UConn and Syracuse. UConn's horrible, guys. I would get this number at 28 because you missed the mark. It opened at 27. We all should have jumped on it at 27. So it's at 30 now. Get it down to 28. UConn's horrible. Syracuse is going to win. They should cover this ATS 2. You have an 0-3 ATS team versus a 3-0 ATS team. I'll be looking in this game because it's 1 o'clock. I have some time to see if some other shit's hitting for me, and then I can roll over the money into this game. So take it for what it's worth. Then we go to TCU versus the Texas Longhorns. I show 9% is for TCU. TCU is a better team than the Texas Longhorns. Plus, they have that wide receiver or running back Tarpon or something like that. The kid's amazing. TCU is the better team. 9% is coming on TCU. I show TCU at -3. If you want, take it down to 2.5. You don't have to worry about a push. But I think TCU should kill the Texas Longhorns, even though I like the Texas Longhorns as a team, just not versus TCU. Then we go to MCN, I guess a Powder Puff school. I've never heard of them, versus Brigham Young, BYU. BYU, it was at 28. The bookmakers thought it was too much. They lowered it down to 26. I don't know anything about this Powder Puff school, so I can't tell you guys. I can tell you that they're going contrarian on this play. 7% is on this Powder Puff school, but BYU's been beating like pretty well-named schools. So do I think they can cover 28 against a Powder Puff? Sure. Yeah, anytime. Then we go to North Texas versus Liberty. 7% is on Liberty. I can't tell you guys why. North Texas is a better team. Did you see what they did last week? They've been impressing me every week. I'll be nowhere near this game, but when Liberty lost to Army in week 1, they lost all my respect. So I'll be nowhere near this game. I don't agree with it. 7% of the money's coming on Liberty. It's probably because Liberty's getting like a +12, but North Texas is a better team. Once Liberty lost to Army in week 1, they lost all my respect. Then I have like a Idaho versus University of Davis, which is right here. I have no bets on this game. Like no one's bet this game because it's such a low level tier when you're talking about University of Davis. But so we're just going to skip that. I have no information to give you guys. Then we go to Texas State versus UTSA. Texas State is getting 16% of the money because they're getting, well, when it opened, it was at +11. So everyone jumped on it. Now it's down to +6. We missed the mark in this situation. We missed the number. So it's at +16 right now, but that was because they were getting a +11 and the bookmakers, people started betting in and bookmakers knew they made a mistake. So we missed the mark in this one. So I'll be nowhere near that. UNLV versus Arkansas State. They think this is a huge bounce back game for Arkansas State. 27% of the bets are coming in, but 50% of the money. 20% is coming in. Take -7. If you're going to take Arkansas State in this situation, take -7. I don't know what your bookmakers might have it at. Take -7 or lower. Then we go to Army and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is getting -30. I show 21% of the money is coming on Army. They think Army is going to put up some kind of fight against Oklahoma. We'll take it for what it's worth. I'm not too big on Army this year, so I'll be nowhere near this game, but laying that -30, it hit me yesterday, right? I told you I had Illinois at +30, and look at the dumb shit that they did. Now, most coaches aren't retarded like Lovie Smith, but anything can happen in these games, guys. You know, we're gamblers. This shit happens. So take it for what it's worth. Next is North Carolina State, I think that's the Wolfpack versus Marshall. I showed 3% is coming on Marshall because they're getting a +6 or +7. I'm real high on North Carolina. I'm real high on the Wolfpack, to be honest. I like North Carolina, but it's for whatever you want. I actually might look into that myself. Let me see. You know, if I can get them at a -6, if I can get the Wolfpack at a -6 in North Carolina, I might actually take that, a -6. That's just, writing notes for later on today. Then we go to Troy and ULM. Everyone knows that Troy's not really a great team, but it was at -7. Now it's down to -5. +19% is going against Troy. Take it for what it's worth, guys. We have Louisiana Tech versus LSU. 7% of the sharp money is coming on Louisiana Tech, but they're getting a +22 in my books. So that's why they're jumping on them. They just think it's too much chalk. Then we go to Rice and USM. 9% is coming on Rice because they're getting +14. I've told you guys my thoughts on Rice. I've actually been to their university down in Houston, Texas. It's not a football school. It's a baseball school. I won't be nowhere near this game, but Rice, I just don't know much about the other team, USM, so I don't want to sit up here. But I can tell you I do know about Rice, and they're not a football school. I show 63% is coming in on Rice, though, and 72% of the money for about a 9-10% sharp money coming on Rice. So I guess the sharps think that the Rice can put up enough defense to cover 14. Tell you for what it's worth. Let me see. I got some Powder Puff School here. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns versus CC. I don't even know who CC is. They're going against the Cajuns. The Cajuns don't have a good team this year. 7% is against them. Take it for what it's worth. Mississippi State versus Kentucky. 12% is on Mississippi State. The magic number is to make sure you get under 10. Under 10, guys. If you get under 10, take Mississippi State. Florida versus Tennessee. Man, this is going to be a good game, guys. I want to see it. These two go after each other. I show a 1% lean towards Tennessee at +3, anything over 3. So if you got +3 or more, the leans go more into Tennessee's favor. This is going to be a really good game to watch. I'll probably be nowhere near it betting, but that's it. Then we go to Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. 13. Oh, let me see. So Texas Tech is getting +14, +14.5. And this is completely even, guys, because of the amount. I don't know. I'm sure that Oklahoma State and Texas Tech are about the same at this point. Definitely when you give Texas Tech 14.5, I'll be nowhere near this game. It doesn't interest me. There's no angles or anything. Then we go to Michigan State versus Indiana. Michigan State University +13 is getting the money. Michigan State University has already let me down at one point in this year. I'll be nowhere near this game, but 13% of the sharp money is coming in on Michigan State University. Just to let everyone know. Then we go to Arkansas, the Razorbacks versus Auburn. 9% is coming on Auburn at -30. Auburn's just a lot better team. The Razorbacks team just isn't up to par this year. Take Auburn. New Mexico State University versus UTEP. Man, that's a powerhouse. That's a barn burner, huh? So we have New Mexico State at -4.5. 19-20% is coming in on New Mexico State. We all know that UTEP is a horrible team. New Mexico State isn't that great, but they can at least throw the ball down the field. If you guys saw New Mexico State and New Mexico Lobos last week, they were going off. They were throwing the ball. It was a fucking shootout. So we all know that New Mexico State can throw the ball. Take New Mexico State in this situation. -4.5. You know, it's not the greatest number because when it opened, it was 2.5. So that would have been the number to jump on. If you can get this down to 3, take New Mexico State. Excuse me. Next is ECU and USF. 8% is coming on ECU. What's that? The East Carolina. Because they're getting a +21, guys. They're just taking the points in this situation. That's all they're doing. Then we have TCU and the Houston Cougs. I have no betting information at this time. It's probably too late in the day. Money hasn't been coming in. What's that? TSU, Texas Southern, like another Powder Puff school. So look at the line in that. The Houston Cougs are -54. There's nobody's betting that game. Next is Stanford versus Oregon. 11% is coming in on Stanford. I'm not really high on either of these schools. Oregon hasn't impressed me. Stanford hasn't impressed me. When Stanford was – okay, Stanford played UC Davis a while ago. Now, they won, but they failed to cover the ATS. When they failed to cover the ATS against Davis, it kind of just like put a sour mouth in my I'm not really even looking at them for the rest of the year now. But 11% is coming in on Stanford. Take it for what it's worth, Stanford. Let me make sure. Just clearing up the chat here. 1 second. All right. So then we go to the Memphis Tigers versus USA. The Tigers opened up at 26. It's currently at 31. We've probably missed the mark already. Memphis Tigers, 30% of the sharp money is coming in on Memphis. Memphis is the play, but the line is out of whack now. It's too much. It's out of whack. So that's going to be a pass for me. If I could get that down to 28, possibly. But we have Wisconsin and Iowa. 5% is coming on Iowa at +3. This is going to be a pretty evenly matched game. Take it for what it's worth. I'll be nowhere near it. Air Force uses Utah State. Sorry. Air Force versus Utah State. 14% is coming on Air Force because they're getting a +10. Both teams can air it out. Take it for what it's worth, guys. Arizona State University, the Sun Devils versus Washington State. Washington's a better team. ASU sucks, guys. We're getting to the end of the card now. ASU is horrible. Take the 10% sharp money. Take -17. I showed opened up at my 17.5. Buy it down to 17 and just feel comfortable about it. EMU, Eastern Michigan versus San Diego State. Eastern Michigan is getting 6% of the money. They're getting a +13. The more and more points they get, it's just going to keep going into Eastern Michigan's favor. Then we have Hawaii, and I'm going to pronounce the name wrong, DeQuince. Hawaii is getting a -35. 12% is coming on Hawaii. Hawaii's been impressing everyone lately with their play. They can throw the ball now. They can block. So 61% of the bets are coming in on Hawaii and 73% of the money. At -35, that's pretty high chalk for me. I probably won't be nowhere near it. But we just went through the whole card. I hope you had your pen and paper. I hope I went over the team you needed. If you guys need to hear anything, put it in chat right now. I'll be happy to look it up. If you guys want me to look up the spread, the total, I can do that for you too. So my personal game tonight is NIU +10 versus Florida State University because I saw one of the kids quit on Willie Taggart last week, and those are things I'm looking for. I think he's lost control of the team, and it's only week 3. There's Reddit post. There's a GoFundMe going on about Fire Willie Taggart. So I'm taking the NIU. I'm taking that angle. Michigan, Buffalo, Iowa State, Virginia, Purdue, and Wake Forest. Okay, that's a lot of games, but yeah, I like it. I definitely like the Michigan game. Michigan and Harbaugh should be able to handle that other team. But we made it to about 36 minutes, guys. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. Let me go over and unders for you. And I'm only going to do the games in the morning time because I don't want to just bore you guys to death. Nebraska and Michigan, more at 3:30. Wow, that's a lot, Nate. Nebraska and Michigan, I show 8% is coming on the over and opened at 49. It's at 52. So once it was at 49, 8% jumped on that over. Buffalo versus Rutgers, I show 11% of the money coming in on the over. It opened at 55. It's down to 53. And then people started putting money on it once it hit 53. This is going to be a tough one just because I think Rutgers' football program is so bad. I just don't see him getting up there in like the 55s and stuff like that. So Minnesota and Maryland, 25% of the sharp money is on the under. I show it opened at 48. It's at 46, so take it for what it's worth. Notre Dame and Wake Forest, I show 17% is on the over. Now, it opened at 54. It's at 59, so the number is already gone, guys. They bet this up already too much. But once it was at 54, everyone started laying in on it. Notre Dame versus Wake Forest. I just went over that one. Akron and Iowa, 9% is on the over. It was at 50. Someone bought it down to 48, and people are jumping on the over at 48. Then we're going to go to BC and Purdue. 5% is on the under. It's at 60. It's sitting at around 60. Now, I'm getting conflicting reports on different sites. One has it at 60 and one has it at 62. So at 62.5, I might actually jump on that under. I don't think they're going to hit that. But I'll look more into that game. I'm just letting you guys know what I have. Nevada and Toledo. I show 5% is on the under, but the line's at 67. So I'll be nowhere. I have no feeling on that game. Ohio and the Cincy Bears. I have 2% is on the under. It will open at 58. It's now at 56. And let me go over a few more for you. Kent State versus Ole Miss. 17% is on the over. We all know Ole Miss can air it out. Ole Miss can score at any time. Definitely against Kent. It opened at 71. It's at 76 now. People already have inflated the line. Then we go to Navy and SMU. This one, 30% is on the under, guys. It opened at 65. It's at 58. No one believes SMU is going to score in this game. The line has jumped 7 points for the under. 7 points. Crazy. Let me do 2 more for you. We're going to go Georgia, Mizzou. 8% is on the over. It opened at 61. It's at 68. The line's inflated now. Pitt and North Carolina, 4% is on the under. It's been sitting steadily at 48. Louisville versus Virginia. Now, here's something. I have 36% of the sharp money on the under in this game. It's been sitting at 51%. 51 is the number. 51, 51.5. But 36% of the sharp money is on that under. They don't think they're going to make 51. I show 91% of sharp money is on this game. That's very interesting to me. I'm going to write that down. At 51. All right. All right. So I like that. Let me see another one I can do. That's pretty much of the early games, guys, right there. All the 9 a.m. So I'll just leave it at that. I just wanted to say thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We made it to the 40-minute mark. Hopefully, I can help you go over these, tell you where the sharp money's going. You can do your own research. We still have an hour before these games start. Well, it depends. Some of them are opening at 9. So take it for what it's worth, guys. Love you. Retweet the show. Give me a thumbs up so I can keep doing this. I just do this extra for you guys. And let's pull out some winners today. I'll be looking at a few more games, but right now, NIU plus 10 is my thing. And I think it comes on at 9:30 my time or 12:30 my time. So that's it. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.